all the research we have about injury prevention in skiing, we have developed 3 programs for use in our practice: a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level program. We'd like to show you these exercises now, and the printouts will be available as well. In our beginner program, we have some basic exercises that get at the main muscle groups you want to be working for skiing. This is great for someone who's just coming back from an injury, or for someone who has been sedentary for a while, not doing their normal activities and exercise. It is a good place to start to set a solid base before moving into the intermediate and advanced programs. First, Kate is doing a sideline hip abduction exercise, lifting her leg. The top leg is kept back, and this exercise should be felt in the side of your hip, not the front. Next, we have a clamshell exercise with a band around your knees. This exercise will feel similar to the sideline hip abduction. We're exercising the gluteal muscles, specifically the gluteus medius, which is important in holding the posture and stability of the entire leg. Next, we bring in some of the core muscles into a similar exercise with a band at the knees, again, to activate the gluteal muscles. We're exercising the core and gluteal muscles to support the leg proximally in skiing. Finally, for the main exercises in this beginner program, Kate is doing a squat. A squat should be done holding the knees over your ankles and the outer toes of your foot, not allowing your knee to go forward over your toes, and also not allowing the knees to fall in to the inside of the arches of your feet. This posture is important in skiing and in jumping, and your knees should not be falling in. This increases your risk of a lot of injuries. As additional exercises in this program, we have the quad set, which Kate is demonstrating, squeezing the front thigh muscle of the leg, holding for 5 to 10 seconds, releasing, and then repeating. Next, she does the supine straight leg raise, which begins with that quad set exercise, tightening the muscle on the front of the thigh, then slowly lifting the leg while maintaining control, lowering it, and relaxing. The final exercise for the beginner exercise program is toe and heel raises, lifting the heels off the floor slowly and repeatedly, and then doing the same with the toes to strengthen the lower muscles of the leg. This intermediate program offers a progression from the beginner program using some of the same muscle groups, introducing some jumping for a little bit of plyometric exercise, and it offers more of a challenge. Not everybody is going to get to the advanced program, and not every exercise in the advanced program is intended for everybody. So the intermediate program may be an ending point for you, and maybe a place that you find the right amount of challenge to get you ready for this ski season. Remember, the goal is just to make yourself a little bit stronger than you are now, and that is going to help you be more resistant to injury. Our intermediate program starts with a lateral squat walk. This is a progression of some of the lateral hip exercises that you saw in the beginner program. Kate squats as low as she can and steps sideways with the band at her knees. You should lead with your knees with this exercise, not allowing your knees to fall inward of your feet. You should feel a burn in your thighs and also in your gluteal muscles. Next, we have a plank. A plank exercise is a great way to strengthen your abdominal muscles and recruits the deepest muscles of the core that are important for supporting the spine. Again, strengthening the core exercises decreases the risk of injury to the spine, improves your balance, and sets up your whole body for success with a strong base. Next, we brought in a lunge exercise. This starts to get into the hamstrings, which are important in stabilizing the knee and resisting ACL tear. Lunging also requires you to land on a foot and accept some of that weight and provide a little bit of balance and stability, so it's a great way to stimulate it. You'll see a progression of lunges in our future exercises. The next exercise is jumping in place. Everyone who is skiing should be able to jump and train through jumping if they at all can. And there's great ways to progress this up onto a small step and then a larger box. But again, with this jumping mechanic, think about keeping those knees out, not allowing the knees to fall in into a position where the knee is vulnerable to injury. This is important if you run into an unsuspected obstacle or change in snow surface while you're skiing, and you need to be able to react to that surface. In this program, we now go into side planks, which is another great way to work the core and get into the side muscles of the trunk, and again, the deepest levels that do support the spine. This is a lateral step up. It's a great way to train the thigh muscles and control that knee from falling in over the arch of the foot. That is a mechanic that we keep coming back to in these programs, keeping that knee out over the outer toes, not allowing the knee to stray forward beyond the toes, and using your thigh and gluteal muscles to control the leg. And in this final exercise, you're on all fours, extending the opposite arm and leg to activate your spine muscles, your shoulder muscles, your gluteal muscles. This is a great way to work all the posterior muscles in your body, provide some stability, work on some balance, and prevent injury. In this advanced program, we have progressed the exercises from our beginner and intermediate program. We've also incorporated some exercises that were tested in the research using needle EMG studies. This is where they take needles and they put them in people's muscles while they're doing exercises, and they can compare different exercises to find out which ones are truly the best to get the most activity out of muscles. And a couple of these exercises represent the best of those studies. These exercises are not necessarily going to be for everybody. They may be too much for some people, particularly if you have existing or past injuries. And I encourage you to work at a level that is appropriate for you and comfortable for you. First is the therapy ball pike. This is a hard exercise that recruits all your deepest core muscles and is great for preventing back injury. Next, we've taken the lunge and we're turning it into a ballistic exercise where you jump and switch legs and come back down and then repeat. This is combining your lunge with a jumping exercise. It's great for responding to changing snow conditions as you ski. Next, we're returning to the bridge, but we've put a ball underneath Kate's legs and she's doing a hamstring curl with it. She's going to do 3 sets of 10 of this, raising, bringing the ball in, pushing it out, lowering down, and repeating. This is good for your core, your glutes, and you'll really feel it in your hamstrings. Now she's doing a squat on a Bosu ball, but this could really be done on any unstable surface. This is also a great exercise to put ski boots on for, to bring that sports-specific training aspect into it and get your legs used to working in a ski boot without much of the use of your foot and ankle muscles. It can be done on a Bosu or an unstable pad or a tilt board or really any surface that is unstable. Next, we've taken the jump that first was in place and it's jumping to a higher surface now. Again, controlling those mechanics, keeping the knees from falling in and keeping the knees from going too far out over the front of the toes. The Nordic hamstring curl exercise is all over the literature and a number of sports. It is one of the best exercises for resisting hamstring injury. You secure your ankles either underneath a heavy piece of furniture or by having a friend hold your ankles down, lower your body to the floor, and come on back up. This is an extremely hard exercise and may just start with a rep or 2. You certainly want to be doing some of the other hamstring exercises we've suggested before you try this exercise. But if you can do this exercise, it is a great one to prevent injury. And finally, we come back to another exercise that was tested with needles in the muscles while people were performing it and found to be the best exercise for the posterior chain, your back muscles, your glutes, and your hamstrings. In this exercise, you're laying flat on your back, lifting your hips up off the floor, and then lifting each leg alternately in a marching motion. So all 3 of these exercise programs are based in the research on what can prevent skiing injuries for you. You should pick the exercises that match your fitness level and what is a good challenge for you and not too much or too little. But if you're doing these on a regular basis during the ski season, leading up to the ski season, and even throughout the whole year, you should be stronger and more resistant to ski injury. Through doing these exercises, you can keep yourself on the slopes more and off of the physical therapy table.